We do have indeed an issue of the rating agencies. Unfortunately, the rating agencies here in the United States in no way distinguish themselves by the ratings that they placed on a lot of so-called subprime mortgage debt. It turns out they had to downgrade the ratings of a lot of the debt here in the United States when the housing bubble burst, and that led to a broader financial crisis and an ensuing recession, a very severe recession, the worst since the Great Depression. In Europe, it turns out that the rating agencies also rate banks. And it turns out they have downgraded some of the banks in Spain. Usually, I think there's ample warning signs before the downgrades take place that banks are in trouble. I don't think one should necessarily expect the rating agencies to sort of provide what I would call timely information in every case about the condition of banks. But when Moody's or Standard & Poor's or Fitch, the three major rating agencies, downgrade banks, it makes it more difficult for banks that have issued debt, basically for that debt to be used as collateral. If indeed the downgrades are fairly severe, when the banks want to raise additional funds, they have to pay higher interest rates on their debt. So again, the rating agencies, either collectively or individually, may differ about how they rate particular banks. But again, I don't think one can hold them entirely responsible for the condition of banks. But when they do move, it may mean that that banks are going to have to pay higher interest rates on their debt, which actually exacerbates, again, their financial condition. But I think what people have to do is not rely wholeheartedly or entirely on the debt ratings or the ratings by the rating companies. I think one has to do good due diligence. One can't simply rely totally on ratings. It turns out well before ratings may change, lead to downgrades of debt issued by banks. I think investors have to have done their own due diligence to see whether or not it's worthwhile still holding on to debt or buying additional debt by banks that may be exposed to excessive risks.